Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Pop Team Epic episodes 7 through 12. Yeah, we're doing 6 episodes today, which, with the length of a Pop Team Epic episode, is actually only about an hour. So, it's not really that bad. But you may be wondering, why are you doing the last 6 episodes all in one video? I mean, I think the most I ever usually do of this series in one video is, what, 2, maybe 3 episodes? I don't even think I've done 4, though I might be wrong. I don't know. Well, the reason I'm doing this is because, honestly, I want to get this series over with. Every week, I have almost nothing to talk about. I mean, last reaction gave us 2 episodes that had some story-based elements. Well, each episode had a story-based skit in it, and there was a little more to talk about with those. But in general, this series doesn't give me a lot to talk about, and just, while it's entertaining enough, I honestly I don't want to keep reacting to this week in and week out. But it's not something that I also feel like I'm wanting to drop necessarily. So at this point, I just feel like the only real answer is to get these last episodes done and over with. Just get it done with. And so, yeah, I'm just going through these. And it's like, this is a 12-episode series, so I'm doing half of the entire series in one video. And again, that might seem like a little much, that some of you might be a little disappointed by that, but honestly, oh well. I hate to sound mean or anything about it, but I can't go weeks and weeks still. I can't do it. I couldn't even do another week of this at this point. I don't have the strength. I'm not strong enough for this. Not for this series. But I am reacting to it, and I'm getting through all of it. So this is this is a poll option that you guys voted on that I am getting through all of. So at least you have to look to that. But speaking of polls, that means there will be a new poll for next week's reaction. The new poll will be up maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. I don't know for sure. Either today or tomorrow, though. I'll get the new poll up. It'll have, once again, do I do 5 or 6 options? Let me make sure here before I promise anything or say anything. 5. There will be 5 options on it. I already know what those options for the poll are going to be. I already have them scheduled down. And so we'll see what you guys vote on. As always, I will be putting up just a separate video regarding the poll with the link in the description, so you'll be able to check it out then. But in the meantime, yeah, so 6 more episodes of this series, and as I've said in previous reactions and pre-thoughts and afterthoughts and all, it's like, this series just doesn't give me enough to really talk about, doesn't really give me enough to consider. It's one of those shows that is straight comedy, nothing else. It is straight gag comedy in a kind of skit comedy show format. It's done, it's executed, written, and just displayed in a way that makes it really impossible to have any kind of meaningful connection to the series. I mean, if you like comedy, and if your favorite kinds of anime are comedy anime, like, I don't know, Hatalia or something, or Nichijou and whatnot, it's like, that's fine, and that's awesome. And I mean, I love Nichijou. But all in all, I personally like anime that have more of an actual story to it. For the most part, that have more of that have more depth and character and just plot of any kind. Nichijou's probably the only one up near the top for me that is less of that. But yeah, I prefer the anime that are more story based. I won't say that I didn't like reacting to this, but I also can't say that I really felt this was worthwhile reacting to. I don't feel like this is something that I'm glad I watched. But again, I don't feel like I'm disappointed that I watched it either. Honestly, this series, just in general, for me, is just kind of meh. It's not good, it's not bad. There's some funny jokes, some really fun references, some things that I do enjoy, but there's also a lot of it that falls flat, or a lot of it that's straight up annoying, or a lot of it that I don't understand. And a lot of it just, again, doesn't leave me with anything to say, anything to think about, anything to really, like, wrap my mind around. And again, I like comedy, and not everything has to be extremely overly in depth and have so much story it's not funny. Sometimes the more simple stuff can be entertaining. But this is one of those cases where it's too much. Luckily, each episode is only technically 10 minutes long, even though it repeats itself with different voices for some strange reason. I still don't understand why it does that. It makes no sense to me. But yeah, either way, I have no idea what's going to happen in these last episodes. Someone told me, though. A friend of mine actually told me that I could skip episode 11. Like, that nothing of any value happens in episode 11 at all, and that it's just completely skippable. I do not know if this is true. I honestly have no idea. But that's what they told me. Who knows, honestly, at this point. I guess I'll find out. I am watching episode 11. I'm watching all of them because I don't skip episodes. I don't do that. The only time I'll ever do anything like that is if there's like a recap episode, which is just all completely recap, no original content at all, which is what they're doing with JoJo this week. And yeah, I already know that there's no original content at all in the episode. It's just complete 100% recap, so I won't be watching that. But, like, even some recap episodes are entertaining, like Avatar and The Legend of Korra do recap episodes well. Especially Avatar. Like, the Ember Island players, that was fantastic. But yeah, it's just, I don't skip episodes. I mean, I don't even know, like, what kind of episode 11 will be. I don't know if it's going to be a recap or if it's going to be just, in my friend's opinion, worthless. I don't know. The point is, I don't skip episodes. Again, unless they're, like, just completely irrelevant recaps that have no real new content in them at all. But yeah, so we're just going to get this started because other than this, I do want to get to recording some other stuff today for the weekend and all. So that being said, let's just get in with this. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play, because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts, and will contain spoilers to the episodes. And one more thing, by the way, I did put them all into one video. So it is all one video, and it's all put together in a way so that it's only, like, obviously one copy of each episode. So yeah, I'll be able to go through it without too much trouble. So that being said, thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. Welcome back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. I am glad that I chose to do it this way. I am glad I chose to do the final 6 episodes in one go, because all in all, I feel like I could not have handled doing even one more week of this. There's two specific skit things I want to talk about, so let's go into that before anything else. First was that kind of horror-themed skit, the one where it's like all these people are in the cabin during winter, very, very stereotypical. And then the one girl sees Peep Me and Popko at the end of the hall, and it's like it starts like this, like, distrust between the group of friends, and they start killing each other and stuff. The one big guy kills the other guy because the girl he likes, I guess, was with him as well. And everyone freaks out. The one girl leaves, gets in her car, but gets spooked by Popko and Pip Me, drives off the cliff backwards. It explodes and kills her. And then all that's left is the one cute girl and the guy who liked her, and he's angry at her and is attacking her. She grabs one of the shotguns on the wall, shoots him, but he manages before he dies to kill her with the axe as well. The reason I like this so much, as I mentioned during the reaction, is I love horror-themed stuff in non-horror-themed shows and whatnot. When a show is generally not based around horror and it suddenly introduces that concept to an episode or arc or whatnot, the creators of the show and the staff behind it usually put forth an unnecessary amount of effort to actually make it really damn good. One of the best examples of this I've talked about before is Samurai Jack. There's an episode of Samurai Jack called Jack in the Haunted House, which is so fucking good. It is my favorite episode of all of Samurai Jack, and that includes counting in Season 5. Because it understands horror and how to handle it. It understands how to make atmosphere, how to make unsettling situations and visuals and sound cues. It just does everything perfectly. It shows Jack experiencing this, and it shows how unsettled he is, which helps sell it to us as viewers. Another great example of this would be Abracadabra from Powerpuff Girls, with the stage magician who died during an act, and his zombie comes back and starts trying to kill people with various magic-themed murder traps, basically. And the Powerpuff Girls have to stop him, and Blossom ends up defeating him by faking her own death. This is why the original Powerpuff Girls was phenomenal, and why the new 2016 version is shit. The new version wouldn't do something that intense, that frightening, and that shocking as pretending to kill off one of its main characters in a pretty believable way. Like, of course, looking back on it now, it's obvious they're not going to kill off one of their main three characters. But at the same time, especially when you're a kid watching that gives you nightmares. That shit scares you. I legitimately did have nightmares when I was young. Yeah, I still watch the episode over and over again because I loved it. Because it was a legitimately fantastic episode that understood how to make things scary. It didn't really make it scary here. Like, it didn't have that factor into where it really, like, brought in the frightening aspect of it. It was more of a kind of a play on the classic 80s horror. There were definitely a lot of tropes. The two girls at the end of the hallway, very Shining-like. The characters starting to mistrust each other, and they end up, instead of, like, there actually being some killer or something, or some malevolent spirit, these guys end up killing themselves. That's been done. And killing each other. That kind of thing's been done. And it's like playing with these classic 80s horror tropes that are tropes for a good reason. They're good tropes that work. The kind of same tropes that Until Dawn, one of my favorite video games of all time, played with and just did so excellently. That is why that was one of, if not my favorite skit in this entire series, because it understood 80s horror. Even though it was short, even though there wasn't a lot to it and a lot of depth or character or anything, even though these characters themselves were a little like stereotypical teens, especially for a teen horror movie, it still felt like it understood those kind of horror movies from the 80s while still parodying it, but not disrespecting that kind of movie. And that is how you do a parody. That is one of those, I think that's one of the only parodies in the show that truly works. Because it understands and respects what it's parodying. That is how you do it. But then there is one other skit I did want to talk about as well, and that was the one at the going towards the very end. They tried to put a story in this. And here's the problem. When you have a series that is mainly skit-based humor, just a bunch of random stuff, you can put in a story, but it has to be there from the beginning, or there has to be hints of it from the beginning. This just kind of came out of nowhere. This was like two separate skits that were basically a part one and a part two. It tried to bring in this meta humor about, I guess, one of the companies that made the series or something were trying to kill off Pupko and Pip-Me, and everything that had been happening to the characters during this entire series had been all of that, them trying to fuck with them and stuff. And it's just like, the concept alone isn't terrible, but you can't do that if it's not foreshadowed from the beginning. And just having, this was a clip from the very first episode, that's not foreshadowing. There was no actual hints or anything of any of this prior to these episodes. And it's like, what, the last episode, maybe two? I don't know which one. At the end there, some of the episodes kind of became blurred as to where, like, which one, when they stopped and started. So I don't know if the first part of those, the two skit kind of finale thing was in episode 11 or 12. Either way, you can't just do that in the last couple episodes, because it doesn't work. Trying to put in a story, especially even if you're trying to do it as a parody and as a joke and everything, it doesn't work if you try to just intersect it in the last couple episodes. Now, if there were little hints and little like maybe background things that you may not have noticed, or that you may have like kind of glanced over, I didn't see a thing that would have hinted towards this. Everything was just its simple gag comedy stuff, and all of a sudden there's a story. Let's compare this to Nichijou. Nichijou does have an ongoing plot to it with some of the characters, specifically the students, whose names I cannot think of. I can never remember their names. But there's also Nana? Wow, their names are just completely escaping me. Hold on a minute. I think her name's Nana. I'm not sure. No, not Hakase. Nano. I was close. So, there's this character in Nichijou named Nano Shinonome. She's a robot created by this young professor named Hakase, and basically she has this ongoing storyline from the very first episode about wanting to be seen as a real girl, wanting to blend in with society, wanting to go to school, all of this kind of stuff that's emphasized from the very beginning. In the second half of the series, she starts doing so. She becomes friends with other main characters who we've met up to this point, and it starts like becoming more of going from, I mean, there's still a lot of the gag skits and stuff, but there actually starts to be like ongoing story elements and plot progression throughout the episodes. But it was hinted at and built up from the very beginning. Because even though a lot of Nichijou is just skit-based comedy, like Pop Team Epic, there are things that carry over. There are certain character elements and plot threads that do carry over from skit to skit. There's continuity. And while there's some types of skits in Pop Team Epic that carry over from episode to episode. There's like the same, like there's the Pop Team Cooking. Like that's a skit that is in multiple episodes. But there's like not continuity between each one. It's just different cooking show jokes. And it's like there's no real continuity until the very end. It just suddenly says like, oh, everything was a ploy by this big group to try and kill me and Pupko. And it's like, what? No, you can't just do that. The only way you can try to justify this is if, again, you have the idea that, oh, it's trying to parody the idea that there's a lot of anime out there that do have this random, out-of-nowhere plot twist at the end. And it's like, yes, there are a lot of anime out there that do that, but even so, even if this was trying to parody that, it just doesn't feel genuine. It doesn't feel like it was given a lot of thought or care or anything to it. And again, that might be the point, but that doesn't make it work. That doesn't make it good. That doesn't make it funny. It just fell flat for me, majorly. And it's a really sour note for this to end on. And then there was that little ending thing with the live action dude. I don't know who that was supposed to be. Maybe some kind of idol from Japan or something, or I honestly have no clue. I don't think that really had a point to it. And it's just like, I don't understand why the show was as popular as it was. I mean, the definite fanfare for it has died down since its initial airing. But people really loved this and thought it was hilarious, thought it was like a really amazing anime that they just couldn't get enough of. I saw memes and images, I saw jokes, people referencing it, fan art, all kinds of stuff all over the place when this had first aired and everything, and when it was really big. And it's like, why? Now that I've seen the series, it's like I get why you guys would want to see me react to it, just because to see my reactions to this insanity. I understand that, but it's like I don't understand why it was so popular. At best, it's mediocre. At best, it's just kind of okay. There's nothing inherently wrong with it. It's not offensive or terrible or completely unwatchable, no. But it's not something I would recommend. It's not something I would go out of my way to watch again. It's just one of those cases where it comes across as like, okay, yeah, I watched it. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Let's move on. And that's kind of how that's how I'm viewing it right now. I watched it. I reacted to it. I've seen it now. If a season 2 does ever come out, I probably won't watch it. Or react to it. Well, obviously, if I don't watch it, I can't react to it. But you know what I mean. I won't react to it or watch it on my own time. Because I honestly, I just don't want to. Now, again, it wasn't really bad or offensive or anything. It's just, I just don't want to watch any more of this. So that's, again, why I'm glad I finished it up here and why I don't have to watch anymore. It's not one of those shows that really, in my opinion, has enough going for it to make it worth it. There were some skits I enjoyed. I acknowledge that. There were some references I really enjoyed. I love that Metaton reference in this set of episodes. I loved Heihachi in last week's. But, again, it's not enough. A couple good references or a couple good skits, like, in a series that's all references and skits pretty much, only a couple good ones that really entertained me, it's not enough to make me want to watch anything more, watch it again or anything. honestly, even if someone I really enjoyed reactions to started reacting to it, I probably wouldn't watch it again. Like, even if it's Rarity Dash or someone, it's just like, no. Just no. And again, kind of what I said in my pre-thoughts, I'm not upset that I watched this. Like, I don't feel like it was a complete waste of time. But at the same time, I don't feel like I'm glad I watched it. I don't feel like it was something I really needed to see. I could have gone my whole life without ever watching an episode of this and would have been fine. But at the same time, again, I don't feel like it was a complete waste of time. So, this is one of those anime that's just kind of really meh for me. It's just kind of meh. There's no other way to put it. It's not good, but it's not bad. It's not anything special, but it's not anything offensive either. It's just kind of there. It just kind of exists. And in the end, I'm going to move on. We're going to just continue on and go on to a new show for Fridays. So yeah, I will be posting a video, again, either today or sometime tomorrow. And that will have the poll for the next Friday reaction. The poll will be open till next Thursday. And next Thursday I will announce the winner of the poll. And here are the options. These are the options that will be on the new Friday poll. Pretty much all of these were on the last one, except for one new one. So I'm going to just try to go over them quick here. I'll go over them a little more in the actual poll video. So we have Afro Samurai, Denpa Kiyoshi, Wandering Sun, Squid Girl, and Kimi no Todake. Afro Samurai, you know, action, revenge story. I would definitely watch the dub for that one, just to hear Sam Jackson, because Samuel Jackson is one badass motherfucker. Seriously, he's an amazing actor. He really is. Denpa Kiyoshi, I believe that's the one about the red-haired otaku teacher. I've heard good things about it, so it's on the list. Wandering Sun is a story about a transgender kid, which, I mean, obviously interests me as a transgender girl and everything, so that's on there for possibility. Squid Girl is a comedy-based one, but unlike Pop Team Epic, I believe it does have an actual story to it. It's not, like, skit-based. I've seen a couple clips here and there. I enjoyed them, but I don't remember much about them. It's been probably a couple years, honestly. All I know is the main character is cute. And Kimi no Todake, which, as you know, I did do a preview reaction to the first episode a long time ago. I think that was back on the old channel. It's basically about this teenage girl who has all these rumors started about her. Everyone sees her as scary or intimidating or someone they just don't want to be around, kind of a pariah. But then there's this one guy who starts sticking up for her, and they start a relationship and everything, and it's really cute. It's extremely cute. And actually has some good humor, too. I'd probably have to watch the first episode again just to get reacquainted with it, but I would be willing to. If I had to choose one on this list that would be my most favorite to win, it would be Kimi no Todake. And least favorite? Probably Afro Samurai. Though, I will make clear that I want to see everyone on this list. Just because, like, Afro Samurai is my least chosen to win or whatnot, doesn't mean I don't want to see it. And as always, vote for whichever one you want me to react to, not which one I want to react to. This is a poll for you guys to decide. So, yeah, the poll, once again, will be up, again, either today or tomorrow. It'll have its own video, so check that out when it comes up, and please vote. And I'll be sharing it around social media and everywhere. If you can do so as well, that would be appreciated. Once again, all of this will be covered even more in that video. But thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for, well, thank you for suggesting this series. Again, I'm not super, like, hyped that I did see it. It's not something that I really feel like I'm happy I got to see, but thank you for suggesting it anyways. Thank you for voting on it, and we'll continue to move on. So for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
And though you've come through many obstacles,